mental health awareness is so important to check in on yourself. That can help you, I guess.
Either of us, we just spoke about it.
Yeah, it's still fresh.
And I think I would just talk quickly about the genesis and why did we come up with this, Manulife MOVE as a section and as a, Sonali calls it not a program but a movement, right? And we are really very excited with this because we believe that longevity is an upcoming trend which will be extremely important and relevant for practically the entire world. And it's extremely important for us to ensure that our fellow Filipinos are prepared for it. And as we say, it's not about adding years to life, but it's about adding life to those years, right? So that is what we are extremely excited about. And our Manulife MOVE is an initiative in that direction. Because what we believe is, in order to add life to those years, there are different facets which our customers need guidance on. And it is much beyond what we as insurance providers can provide through our own expertise. So through Manulife MOVE, we are bringing a lot of subject matter experts which have expertise on topics which is extremely relevant for our customers, and we are bringing them to our customers through this initiative of Manulife MOVE. So quick 30-second, 1-minute intro. Sonali, would you want to add something?
No, that was very well said, Rahul. We progress the questions as we go. But just to Rahul's point, the summary of all of this is the so what for our customers and our advisors. We all keep talking the what. I think the Manulife MOVE movement is the how. Right? How do you do this? Not just what do you do, but how do you do this? And it's a first step. It's just the beginning, and with partners like Erwan and Anne, and of course with help from Sean, Paolo, and all of you, we just hope that we can bring the how to our customers.
Okay, so I guess we'll kick off now with Anne and Erwan. We'll ask you how.
Yeah.
Right? You've been with Manulife since 2009.
Yeah.
That's a long time, and now you have a family, you have a daughter. Tell us about your how and your why.
Well, the how is, of course, it's so important. Like, we did a campaign before called M Knows Better. And it's so important you can't do it alone, but it does help to have someone to help you out, reach those life goals, teach you how to, plan your life better and make better choices. So it's important to find that partner, and I believe Manulife has done that for me. I have been a policy owner since 2009, way before they even got me as their partner. I was a client. So that's how much I trust the brand. Now, having the Manulife MOVE app, it's an app. I think it's so timely and so now because we're all on our phones. We're all on social media. So having access to mental health concerns, to health concerns, you'll be able to find that on the app, and it's from experts. So for me, it's a must.
Sean, can I just take a minute?
Of course.
Anne mentioned M Knows Better. So that campaign has the highest number views ever in the history of Manulife, with 147 million impressions and 42 million views and counting. Okay, put this in context. 147 million impressions. How many people are there in Philippines, you reckon? 129 million, right? So that means the impressions every human being in this country has seen it at least more than once. So that's how successful and how it resonated, the whole financial planning aspect, and how our advisors bring that to life with Anne's help, and Erwan and Dalia, all three of them were in that campaign. So well done all.
Okay, and of course, Manulife also comes out with a study every year, and there's such incredible insights that come out of it. So this year, they had a study, and Sonali, would you like to elaborate on that? They focused actually on why longevity.
Yeah, no, actually the study was on the young Pinoys, right? So till every year, and Sean knows this, right? We do the Asia Care Survey, which is not just a Philippine survey, it's across Asia, across all our markets. And the insights that we get market-wise, and then we personalize it and localize it and go deeper on the insights market-wise. So this year we decided, on top of the Asia Care Survey, we have also researched with the young Pinoys, the Gen Zs and the millennials, right? Because that's the median age in Philippines is 27, right? The maximum number of people that you find on the streets is 27 years old. So we are very, very concerned about the fact that we are not getting enough of a read for the millennials and the Gen Zs, and the behavior and the pattern of their financial planning, of how they approach longevity and health and nutrition is very different. So this survey, which we've done this year, is really bringing that home, the lens on millennials and Gen Zs, and how we can pivot to start supporting the generation that's coming through. So that's the latest study that you're talking about, Shah.
There you go. So any more questions here from our media friends? Perhaps about the study that you would like to direct to Rahul, Sonali, Erwan, or Anne?
Hi, good morning. I'm Claire Santiago. I'm a mommy blogger. Yeah. Hi, Anne. Earlier you said that women get stressed more than men. Parang hindi naman applicable siya.
I can vouch for that. I carry the stress in the household. Good observation. Thank you.
So, in what ways do you think can MOVE help reduce stress among women?
Number one, find the right partner. Especially for women, it's a lot of multitasking. You're being a wife, you're being a mother, you're still pursuing your dreams, you're in the house, there's a lot to think about. I think self-care is so important, to take time for yourself as well. In a world, especially now, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of apps, there's a lot of friends, there's social media. It's important to take time for yourself, and I think self-care and mental health awareness is so important to check in on yourself. That can help you, I guess, but of course, top priority is finding a good partner that will help you through that stress. And of course, alongside with Manulife, having that app will help you get through that. If you want to do things alone and you're too shy to speak to your partner, your friends, at least you have Manulife, or you find an M in your life that can help you be better. Thank you.
So are you agreeing that women are more stressed, right? We are agreeing.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Statistically.
Statistically, just not in this particular situation.
Just wanted to make that super clear.
Well, it doesn't show, Anne, because you have a really great partner in Manulife and in Erwan. So you found two great M's in her life, and that helps. So really good advice. Anybody else? Question, ma'am?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Danny De Leon from Zest Magazine. What are the key factors affecting retirement readiness in Asia? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so retirement readiness is, again, we showed a lot of statistics in the morning today, and it was amazing to see. First of all, to what extent are people ready for retirement? And when we did the survey, and out of the survey came that the amount of wealth that people think they would need to have a financially ready retirement, currently they are only at about 16% of that wealth. So that means the gap between what they need and what they have is very, very significant. And the other thing which came to us, which was very surprising, was we always felt that when you get wealthier, your retirement readiness will be better, because you have probably more disposable income for yourself. But then the study showed that actually the wealthier were only about 2% better than their counterparts. So the wealthier section of the society has only about 18% of what they think they would need. And that's how the gap for what they think they need and what they have is quite significant. And I think that is where, when we see this data, it then translates into our actions, our strategy, our product development, because what we then try to do is we share this data with our distributors. We ask them to reach out to the customers and bring this knowledge of importance of retirement planning to the customers. And of course, then we have products across both our insurance and our wealth management or asset management company to ensure that we are offering the right kind of products for people to start preparing. I think for me the biggest gap is really education. And you would all agree, we all Filipinos love to spend, right? We are a spending economy. That just keeps us going. If you just look around, there are so many malls, so many cars and everything which is coming up. But we need to now make a switch from being a spending economy to also being a savings economy. Because that's a very, very important shift. And that's why we are always looking forward to all of you, our media partners, because you are instrumental in bringing that message across to fellow Filipinos that it's so, so important to start saving while they're earning.
And Rahul, if I may add, so just since we're talking retirement, right? So approximately when you talk to the younger generation, they're saying about 22 million pesos is what they're aiming for. You can all imagine that that's highly underachievement of the numbers that you need. Second thing is, like Rahul mentioned, that this is only 16 to 18% of what they actually need. Third factor is that 16% that they have planned, they are all keeping it in cash, right? So this is all locked up where inflation is eating up that money. So when they need that money, it is not going to be sufficient. And third factor is that while that there is a big education deficit, to Rahul's point, on what do you do with this money, right? Do you diversify? Do you get it into different portfolios? Do you have enough of a mix so that you are keeping ahead of the inflation? So all of this information seems to be missing, especially in the younger generation. And I mean, even if we say that the older generation has that information through their advisors and relationship managers, I don't think it is being acted on. So inactivity is definitely a lot of paralysis in the system on making that money move and get to the point where it is enough, first of all. Second, it is diversified and invested. And third, that people are reaching out to get advice, right? That's what is missing today in the Philippines.
Alright, so there is a place, of course, and people that you can get advice from, but like you guys, Erwan, like, of course you're the head of the household too, you co-manage a house with Anne, you have a daughter. How do these conversations go at home? What can you share with us about how you talk about retirement and planning for the future? Especially after hearing all these data that came out about retirement and people perhaps not realizing exactly how much they need to set aside for that.
I think after hearing all that, maybe to add context for the youth, I'm the official spokesperson for the youth. But no, like I actually had kind of that conversation myself the other day. I'm 38, and you think, oh, you've kind of arrived at a point where you're fairly comfortable and successful, and you don't really have much of a leeway in front of you anymore. And then you think about it, and you're like, wait, there's technically 40 years of my life still in front of me, which is a big amount to kind of save up for. Speaking of the youth, I hired 35 people, and all of them are around 25, 26, 27. And what I've realized is there's actually a massive cultural change and shift happening that a lot of people haven't really, or the older institutions or companies haven't really adapted to, and that's compared to our parents or Gen Xers, it was a very different time where my dad, for example, would take 4 meetings a day, and that'd be a very busy day. I respond to potentially 500 work messages every day and take 10 online meetings. And it's just, your life, because of the efficiencies of technology, has gotten way more compacted in terms of the work that you're doing. And I see this with the young people that I work with, is they're in it 100% all the time, always working. And so when you're that much, head in the steering wheel, you don't really have time to think a couple of steps ahead. You think about today, you think about the present, how do I make it work for me, for my family, etc. And I think that coupled with a general mistrust for institutions and things like that, because of all the information that we have now on social media, those two things coupled together, all of a sudden people feel very much alone, right? And so I'm a father at home, yes, but I'm also a father at the company. They actually call me Papa E.
Papa E.
And a lot of times when they come talk to me, it's not about work problems. They talk to me about, how do I invest my money? What should I do with this? How do I plan for the future? And so young people are looking for that guidance. So I think it's great to see companies like Manulife step into that role and say, okay, no one is giving that education and that guidance, and let's fill in that role where people need to be kind of handheld and explain these things. And I think in our households, particularly, I grew up in privilege, but not once did my parents sit me down and talk to me about accounting, financials, how to spend, how to
Saving
invest,
for
and all
the
that.
future.
Yeah. Had they, I think, I would have had, I would have started off my college, university, and work life even better, because I would have known what to do. I wouldn't have made as many mistakes. So I think one thing with Dahlia is to make sure that she's prepared for all that, and so that she needs to be right away exposed to these things, to see both parents really working hard, but both parents also taking time to spend time with family and understanding what that investment financially looks like and that investment in life looks like as well, and reaping benefits on both ends. So I think it's just really important to be that role model.
Okay, I think somebody, there's something you can add in how Erwan's answer and the results of the study all came together, and that's why we have the new app now. And it's maybe something that the youth, because I think we're millennials, but the Gen Zs are a bit different,
Yeah.
right? They're, like you said,
Always online.
always online, aware, different goals.
Yeah, I mean, and then the study is also telling us that, right? Surprisingly, the Gen Z's impression of how much money they need is more than the millennials. One would have thought the other way around, right? Because the millennials are up the income curve, so they are worldly wiser, so they are probably kind of keeping away more. But it's the Gen Zs who seems to have figured out that they need more and are kind of consciously working towards that. Now the challenge to Erwan's point, and I think that's a brilliant point, right? The combination of your head in the day-to-day plus the mistrust for institutions is combining for them, and so institutions like ours, we have to reinvent ourselves to say, how do we become that trusted partner, right? How do we authentically present ourselves such that what we say, and we say it, speak in their language, resonates with them. So we don't have to teach them our language, we have to speak to them in their language. And that's what is a 118-year-old company like Manulife is pivoting to make happen. And trust me, it's not easy. But with our content producers, with our influencers, with our key opinion leaders, I think we are getting there. The baby steps, but we are getting there. So the whole point of addressing Gen Zs, Sean, to your question, is whether we are presenting ourselves in their world. So, like Anne has mentioned a couple of times, Manulife app is a big step towards that, right? They don't want to go get advice from anybody. They want it here and now, and once they get stuck, that's when they want somebody to open up and say, answer this, right? Or can I chat with somebody? It will come a point where they'll pick up the phone and talk to somebody. That will also happen, and we are ready for that. But we have to take them through that journey of them discovering all of the financial needs and how they can plan for it by themselves at their own pace.
Well said. Man in Black has a question.
I actually have several. If that's okay. Sorry, my name is Sabe. I'm with ABS-CBN News Channel. I noticed the 18 million and 20 plus million number or figure that you have in your press statement. I remember talking to the central bank. Our generation thinks they need 3 million to retire. So that's a huge difference. It seems like the Gen Zs and millennials are a little off base still, but a lot better than my generation. So thank you. Now my question is, there's a gender wealth gap, and Erwan and Anne, I don't know if you talk between among yourselves on who makes more, but I think that traditional financial planning models don't anymore address the new information that females or women have more stress, except Erwan, because 500 emails is too much.
I don't get 500 emails. I don't get 500.
You should check her notifications.
So, how do you address the fact that women are more stressed, they live longer, but then they feel a little more unable to deal with the financial requirements that are posed to them as parents, as mothers, as women in the career, in the workforce. Maybe I want to ask the couple how you deal with that first, and then from Manulife also on what kinds of products, strategies are you doing to address this problem?
You want me to go first? I know that's a lot, I'm sorry.
I
Well,
think, well, maybe
okay.
maybe for context, I think a lot that doesn't necessarily apply to Anne because she's been working since she was 12, right? Which is, I still find extremely impressive. I started working when I was 18. But yeah, so I think there is a massive gender equality gap, but it also comes down to, I think, what is expected of genders nowadays. You know, either way, if people want to be a working mom or not have kids, like all those options should be available to everyone depending on what they want, right? So I think depending on those different verticals of women, I think the situation will be very different for each of them. And I mean, I saw the women's stressors kind of report also, and I see it also in my company. I do think, yes, in the Philippines specifically, it's a very matriarchal society, so I do think there's more expectation from women in general. Men seem to be given a free pass, and we see it in the news all the time. And so yeah, I think just in general, that's how our culture is. And you know, it would be great to kind of see more companies taking the steps necessary to kind of address that, both internally for like private employers as well, but also service providers and insurance providers. I think knowing that will give you an edge in terms of how to handle all these different situations.
And I think that's why it's equally important. Like I joined Manulife as a single woman. So I think it's important that as early on, you don't need to rely on anyone else but yourself if you work hard and plan ahead of time. And
I love it.
which is what I did. And as a family, you know, now when I became a wife and a mother, you know, your priorities change, but you don't forget about yourself. Everything he and I look forward to in the future is for our daughter now. But we are both independent on our own as well, and I think it's important as well that I encourage women to do that as well. You can stand alone and at the same time be a good wife and mother.
I think I have no idea how much she spends. She has no idea how much I spend. We have a communal kind of fund for any communal purchases, investments, and things like that. Any investments we want to do together, we do together, but any spending we want to do separately, we do it. So I think, but we're also both in a position where I think we've done fairly well for ourselves, right? So it is different for everyone, but I do think it's really important to have that conversation in terms of especially your spouse and what's expected from one another, right?
Thank you.
There was a follow-up
One
for
more.
Raul.
You want to take?
No, please.
Okay. So from I think yes, acknowledging the gender inequality from a earning standpoint, but as of today, our financial products. So there are two aspects of our products primarily: financial planning as well as protection. From both these product categories, especially from financial planning, we feel our products are income agnostic because it's not targeted to a certain income level, or it is not, you know, the importance of our products is not necessarily to a certain, I think any income level, and because the way our products work, they are income agnostic. Anybody and everybody who has whatever level of income should be able to save at least 10 to 20% of their own income level. So that's how our advocacy is, and it is across both genders equally important. And I think, but on the protection side, yes, when we are always developing our health products, we do acknowledge that there are certain health concerns which are very specific to women, and we ensure that those features are inbuilt in our products, and the benefits that we provide are also very specific to that gender. And I think beyond that, on the protection side, I think primarily it's health, so that's where we are focusing on. I think when you get to the content part that we are talking about, which we are going to post in our Manulife MOVE, a lot of partnerships and a lot of partners that we would bring across would be specific to certain concerns which are specific to women. So that's our approach so far, and I think we continue to build upon that. As an employer, we are completely champions of diversity and inclusion. So it really doesn't matter what gender you come from. We have equal opportunities as an employer, and that's also something which we're very, very proud of as well.
Currently, the leadership team has more women than men in Manulife Philippines.
Okay, we have time for one last question, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. Congratulations, Anne and Erwan. So, this was earlier asked by the host upstairs. So, what small lifestyle moves do you think people can realistically start doing today to live healthier lives?
I know what you're gonna say. So I'm gonna say mine first. I know exactly what you're gonna say because that's always been his your
Mantra.
Yeah, your mantra. So I'm gonna say even just taking a few minutes to walk. It's easy as walking. Instead of taking the elevator, maybe take the stairs for once. People. I know it's also because our country is a bit hot, so they don't want to get sweaty and everything. But if you have time, walking is so useful and helpful in exercising, no matter your age. You can do that. You have to start as early as when you can. And second, I'm gonna say checking in on yourself. Because if you're okay, then you'll be able to do everything else.
Being sick is kind of like the most expensive thing, especially here. I think I heard a while ago they were saying 60% of medical expenses are out of pocket for most people. In my company and other companies that I've seen, like the number one reason for people taking a personal loan is to help, your family, a family member that's in the hospital or something like that. And so, being that influence for health and wellness, not just for yourself, but also for those around you, I think is extremely important. And I think people don't realize how simple it is, right? It's just that we are, as humans, we don't like change, we don't like restriction, we're not fans of discipline and all these things. But once we can be a little bit strict with ourselves and we can see right away the benefits that it produces in your life in general, I think people will be very quick to adapt. Food obviously is a big part of what I do. And we tend to be very Manila-centric in everything we do in the country. But if you spend time in different provinces around the Philippines, you see how healthy Philippine food can actually be, right? If you spend time in the Ilocos region or in the Visayas, there's so many vegetables that people are having, especially like in smaller barangays, that they grow themselves. And I think when we talk to those people, you don't realize how special it is to be able to take your pumpkin flowers and put it in your utang or whatever you're making at home. And I think for people who live in the big cities, is thinking like that simplicity is actually really good, and we should go back to kind of very simple ways of eating that are actually cheaper because they use local ingredients and more hyper-local in terms of where you live. So I think that's really important, and if you can do that for yourself, and then do it for your mom, and then for your uncle, and your tita girly, and your Michelle, and Jerry Nicole, and all them, then you're good, because then you don't have to kind of get loans anymore, and it becomes cheaper for yourself as well, right? So I think sickness is really important, and then also learning how to say no. So again, prioritizing yourself. We come from very tight families with a lot of personal requests and everything, and just taking that time to say no, know your worth, know what you're supposed to be doing and not doing, can also help you in the long run.
And just to confirm, that was what you were expecting him to say
I
about
knew he was gonna link it back to food because that's something he's always championing for, eating healthy. And I love that that's something he tries to educate people about, that it is going back to the roots, especially in the Philippines.
Has it
And
worked on
he's seen
you?
that firsthand.
Has it worked on you?
Sometimes.
Fair enough. That works.
Depends on the season.
If Christmas,
Christmas, all bets are off.
Usually most wives don't like listening to their husbands. So I send her like a video link or an article, be like, it didn't come from me, some expert said it.
That's a nice way of, that's good advice.
I second that.
Yeah.
We have smart men here, but we've also run out of time. So I guess just a parting shot for everybody in the room and for your audience. Should we start with Sonali? Last word?
And first of all, thank you all for being here. I mean, I know it's Saturday, and really, maraming salamat for being here. sparing your weekend time, your family time, and so that's really appreciated. Last word, Sean. I think, again, like I said, let's build that community that supports each other, right? We will do our best in however much we can and whatever is at our disposal to get everybody together to start just that next step, right? Just get up. After every 30 minutes, just get up. Just breathe. Just watch, or just talk. I think all of that is the first step. And I was telling my team that there's no point in showing a marathon runner or a mountain biker because that puts me off. That wants me to just slide on my couch and watch more Netflix. So let's just get to that next step, right, of just getting up and moving. And from all of you, the request is really to amplify that whole point, right? Saying that there is help, let's support each other, let's build that community to get moving and make Filipinos healthier as we go. Because it is really troubling that the younger folks are falling sick more often than the older folks, right? That's really troubling. So I think that's something that if we can do well together, that's a big part of the battle won.
Rahul, parting shot?
Okay. See, for me, I think the Philippines, we are at a very unique point in time in our evolution because majority, and as Sonali said earlier, majority of Filipinos are young, right? Only by the end of this century, we'll probably be at a percentage of 10% of our population being above 60. Which means we have a huge opportunity that the future of Philippines, when all these young people who are currently at the median age of 27 reach their senior ages, if we can start and support this movement that we're talking about, we can expect a much, much better, healthier and happier Philippines. I personally believe Philippines is the happiest country in the world. I don't care about all the other kind of surveys. I think they're totally wrong. But we can continue to build upon that reputation and have a much, much happier Philippines if we all continue to support this movement. As Sonali said, as Erwan said, as Anne said, these are all little steps. Little steps around food, little steps around exercise, little steps around financial planning. All of these little steps is what it takes to create a better and beautiful future for Philippines.
Okay, Erwan, you're already holding the mic, so I guess we'll go with you first.
I always tell people to question absolutely everything. Like, I think the most important question that we can ask ourselves now is why, right? So why am I scrolling on my phone for the last 3 hours? Why am I about to eat this donut? Why am I about to say yes to, going out with my friends when I didn't want to? Just asking yourself why every step. I know it sounds annoying, that's probably why it's freaking out. But what happens is you start realigning yourself and start gaining the momentum towards the trajectory that you actually had set for yourself. I think we do things way too mindlessly nowadays, right? We do things because we're constantly entertained with things, where we constantly have to care about absolutely everything that's happening in the world because we see it on social media. And having all that information you think would, make you be able to take better decisions, but it doesn't. It actually just paralyzes you because you don't know what to do because you're so freaked out all the time. So I always tell people, do things with intent. Each time you're doing something, make sure there's a purpose for it. If you want to eat that fried chicken, so be it. But it's a choice, it's a decision. I'm eating this fried chicken because I want to feel good and I want to eat this fried chicken. It's delicious. I'm not looking at anyone in particular in this room. But what I'm saying is, while you're able to do that, you should also be able to make those conscious decisions. Like, maybe
I work out!
be like, maybe today I won't eat it and I'll do something else. I'll just realign you towards your goals. I think that's really important.
Okay, Anne, it's your turn.
To defend me. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna say, after hearing everything, most importantly is don't get intimidated. It sounds like a lot, you hear the word insurance, Manulife, you're intimidated. It's actually very easy to understand, and there will always be someone there to help you understand in layman terms, in your language. Don't feel confused about it because it can seem a lot, but if you take the time, and I feel like that's what Manulife MOVE is really, really going to help us with, just scroll and read about it. Take the time and find something that matches you, but most importantly, don't feel intimidated because it's something you can do, and you can find the best partner to help you get through it. So, yeah, That's all I want to say. Thank you, Manulife.
Thank you guys. So for any more follow-up questions,